Your 20s is the best time for you to make fantastic financial decisions, because everything you do next, every small habit you put into place, every small action step you take towards your own self in your future's financial situation, it has compounded effects. The same the other way around as well. If you have some bad habits and you don't feel it right now that intensely, all these actions and habits and mindsets has a compounded effect for the future you. So I'll start off with a quote that someone shared with me from the book The Latte Factor. Your wealth is like your health. Your health doesn't just happen, it doesn't just take care of itself as you go through life. You can't leave your health in someone else's hands, and the same goes for your wealth. They are both completely in your hands and in no one else's. Very cool. In this video, I'll talk about some habits, mindsets, ideas, things, actions, stuff that you should try to avoid, especially in your 20s, to look after your financial self and allow yourself a healthy, wealthy life. Okay, so maybe grab yourself a cup of tea, consider subscribing if you haven't already, and let's get into it. Alright, bad habit number 1 is having your credit card or keeping your credit card for an emergency. That thing only makes your emergency worse, stretched out, and longer to get rid of. And my short term of adulthood life has happened a few times. But why wait for that emergency to blow up in your face to take care of it or to plan or prepare for it? Adulthood is here and you can prepare for that day when it comes. A lot of the awesome wealthy people advise that you should have a 3 to 6 months of life expenses saved up in an emergency fund. While I know that might seem quite intense right now, start with just 1 month of life expenses saved up that you just have and leave it there. Don't touch it. No, new shoes, clothes, or that trip that you really want to take is not an emergency. And when that day comes, when your car breaks down, the geyser breaks down, you can offer Murphy a cup of tea. And you don't have to worry about that emergency fund. Deal with it right there, right now. Bad habit number 2, being acceptable to easy monthly payments. That's kind of a short-term thinking mentality, and most of the time it's something that you want right now but you can't really afford. But the fact is that if you purchase something that you pay interest on, you might pay 3 to 6 times the amount that you would have paid for it if you just bought it right now with cash. 3 to 6 times the amount. That's just kind of financial suicide. Instead, cultivate a long-term thinking habit and be patient and content to save up for something and purchase it with cash. Also, this keeps you from moving forward in life. If you constantly have to throw your money on decisions that you made in the past, it's just preventing you to actually have some money available and throwing it at something that has a meaningful contribution for your financial future. Also, it's kind of nice to just buy something that you can afford right now and be done with it. Bad habit number 3 is thinking that a budget is a restriction. Me personally, I had a weird connection with the word budget. I directly connected it with, now I can't have fun, I'm limited, I can't do anything, I have a budget. It's like budget means, you're on a budget, remember you can't do that, you're on a budget. And the thing is, just having a budget is actually allowing yourself to spend money, just in a manner that you can afford to do it. Especially if you have an income that varies each month, or you have a 9 to 5 fixed salary. For you to kind of get ahead, you gotta be aware of where each dollar goes and what you're throwing your money at. It's so satisfying and a peace of mind to just be aware of where it goes and not just hoping to get through the month, because most of the time if money is just there available, it evaporates in thin air. So that's how you will be able to save up money, put it in an emergency fund, moving towards some future financial good decisions. Self-care management. Budget. Bad habit number 4. I call it the head in the sand mentality. What I mean by this is that if you are doing something or you are aware of something that you have done that is impacting your financial situation in a bad manner, and you are just ignoring it, moving on, hoping that it will take care of itself. If it's a bad purchase that you've made, you just know, that was dumb, or a bad investment, especially if it's something that continues to take your money each month. And I think we're so easily just ignoring it, hoping it will figure itself out. Or if your investment is growing negatively, like identify it, face it head on. If it's possible, undo it. I think most of the time it's actually possible. We just tell ourselves it's not, and we justify the mistake because it's kind of hard and difficult, or you have to admit to something that you've done wrong. You don't really want to do it, so you're just like constantly telling yourself why it was okay or why it's good. Or if there's some looming debt that's just hanging around, and I will deal with it later. or some tax situations that you need to take care of. Like, just face it head on, do it. Especially if it's impacting you financially, it's really worth it to take care of it and not hoping that it will take care of itself. Bad habit number 5 is postponing savings. I think we always have a million reasons to justify why we are not able to save money. Or you're always telling yourself, oh, I will start saving money once I get a raise, or once I get a new job, or next year, or I just quickly have to pay off my car and then I will start saving. Or I can save when I'm older. You're young and you have to do this right now. Or always giving yourself the option, you know, I can save money or I can travel. It doesn't have to be an option. Saving should be a mandatory expense each month. And I always remember when I was a young girl, my dad told me that if you're not able to save money with $400 a month, you won't be able to save money with $4,000 a month. It is a habit that you have to implement in your life as early as possible, because the longer you wait, the more difficult it will get. More money will not make you start saving money. It's just a mature and healthy financial habit to make part of your life. All right, and number 6, allowing YOLO to rule your life. YOLO promotes living in the moment and not taking any day for granted, and I'm actually a big supporter of that, embracing each day to the fullest, traveling, adventure, and I'm all for impulsive decision making. But one thing that I've realized along the line is that maturity has to weigh out thoughtless behavior and careless spending. That's the whole thing about having a budget, getting an emergency fund, allowing yourself to make impulsive decisions and to live each day in the moment. But it's not very healthy to make decisions based on YOLO that can have a negative impact or an unhealthy impact on your financial situation. After all, it's not that fun to still hang out with the side effects of a YOLO decision that you made a month ago, a year ago, or 2 years ago. And we're at our final habit: buying a new car, leasing a car, and throwing a lot of money at a car in your 20s. I think most of us are actually quite aware of the depreciating value of a car, especially if you buy a new one. The moment you drive it off a lot, it loses 20% of its value. One thing that I've learned was that I always thought a car is an asset. But if you look at the financial meaning behind an asset, it's something that puts money in your pocket each month, and a liability is something that takes money out of your pocket each month. The funny thing is, if you want to apply for a loan at a bank and you need to list all your assets, you can list your car, your house, you can list your golf set as an asset. But if you have payments on those things, it is an asset for the bank. It's a liability for you because you're actually paying them for it. Okay, but the point is, you're throwing a lot of money at something that is just going down, down, down in value. It's not building anything for you in your own financial future, and you're still young. If you have some money available that you can put in the right places right now, it will have magnificent effects in your future. That was my list of 7 habits. That's just something that I've learned in my young life. If you like the video, thumbs up will be appreciated. Consider subscribing, and I hope you all have a healthy, wealthy life. See you next time.